Nobody expected this. After a season that split the audience right down the middle, the Landman Season 3 trailer just dropped, and somehow it feels sharper, darker, and far more confident than anything the show has done before. This isn't just a tease for another chapter, it feels like a warning. Whatever uneasy peace Tommy found at the end of Season 2, the trailer makes one thing clear: it's not going to last. The first thing that stands out about the Landman Season 3 trailer is how different the energy feels compared to where Season 2 left off. The finale tried to give us a sense of earned calm, a fragile kind of happiness where Tommy finally stood on his own terms, surrounded by people he trusted, building something that was actually his. But the trailer doesn't let that feeling breathe for even a second. Instead, it leans hard into tension, reminding us that Landman has never been about comfort. From the opening moments, there's this quiet pressure hanging over everything, as if the show itself is saying that starting over doesn't mean starting clean. Tommy's new company may be legal, structured, and funded, but the past is still sitting right there in the room with him. You can feel it in his expressions, in the way he listens more than he talks, and in how every decision seems heavier than before. This version of Tommy isn't chasing power anymore, he's defending it. The trailer frames him less as a man climbing the ladder and more as someone standing in the blast zone, fully aware that whatever comes next will test every choice he made in Season 2. There's a clear sense that ownership, which he finally claimed, comes with a cost far greater than the one he paid working under someone else. What makes the trailer unexpectedly effective is how restrained it is. It doesn't rely on explosive moments or loud promises. Instead, it focuses on consequences. The looks between characters feel loaded, conversations sound unfinished, even success feels temporary. Cooper's role, in particular, feels more complicated now. Being named president looked symbolic in the finale, almost hopeful, but the trailer hints that this responsibility might pull him into the same moral gray areas that haunted Tommy for years. The oil that once felt like a gift is starting to look dangerous again, not just because of outside threats, but because of what it demands from the people who control it. There's also an underlying sense that enemies haven't disappeared, they've simply gone quiet. Galino's presence still looms large, even when he's not on screen, and the trailer subtly reminds us that deals made out of desperation don't expire just because circumstances change. At the same time, the industry itself feels more hostile. The rules are tighter, the risks are higher, and mistakes don't just cost money anymore, they cost lives, freedom, and family. By the end of this first look, it becomes clear why the trailer feels better than expected. It doesn't oversell Season 3 as bigger or louder. Instead, it sells it as more focused, more personal, and more dangerous. Landman seems ready to strip away any illusion of safety it briefly allowed and ask a much harder question. What happens when a man finally gets everything he wanted, only to realize that keeping it might destroy him?
What really elevates the Season 3 trailer is how it reframes every major relationship we thought we understood. Season 2 spent a lot of time tearing bonds apart, whether it was Tommy and Cammy, Tommy and Angela, or even the fragile trust between Tommy and Cooper. The trailer suggests that Season 3 won't be about fixing those relationships, but about living with the damage they caused. Tommy is no longer reacting to chaos created by others. Now he is the source of stability for a whole operation, and that responsibility isolates him in ways we've never fully seen before. The trailer leans into that loneliness. Even when he's surrounded by his crew, there's a sense that leadership has pushed him into emotional exile. He can't afford to be impulsive anymore. Every move he makes affects people who believe in him, people who followed him when it would have been safer not to. Cooper's transformation is especially striking. The trailer hints that his elevation wasn't just symbolic, it was strategic and possibly dangerous. There's a subtle tension in the way he's framed, like someone trying to grow into a role faster than he should. His past trauma hasn't vanished, and the legal shadow from last season still hangs over him, even if the system backed off. The show seems ready to explore what happens when a young man is handed power before he's had time to heal. Meanwhile, characters like Rebecca and Nate feel sharper, more grounded, and more essential than ever. The trailer positions them as pressure points rather than support systems. They're not there to save Tommy from himself, but to remind him of the limits, legal, moral, and financial, that he keeps testing. There's also a noticeable shift in how the industry is portrayed. Season 2 focused on survival within existing systems. Season 3 looks like it's asking whether those systems can be beaten at all, or if they always demand submission in the end. Every deal feels temporary, every alliance feels conditional, and every quiet moment feels like it's setting up something worse. The trailer doesn't spell out conflicts clearly, and that's what makes it effective. You're left connecting dots, sensing fractures, and realizing that the real threat might not be a single villain, but the slow erosion of trust, patience, and control. By the time the trailer moves toward its midpoint, it becomes obvious that Landman isn't trying to shock its audience anymore. It's trying to unsettle them. It wants you to feel that something is wrong long before anything actually breaks.
Another reason the Season 3 trailer hits harder than expected is how it plays with the idea of success. On paper, Tommy won at the end of Season 2. He escaped corporate ownership, protected his son, built a company, and surrounded himself with loyal people. But the trailer makes it clear that success in this world is just another kind of trap. There are moments that suggest outside forces are watching closely, waiting for CTT oil exploration and cattle to stumble, not aggressively, not openly, but patiently. That kind of attention is far more dangerous. The trailer also hints that Cammie's story isn't finished, not even close. Her absence from Tommy's world doesn't mean she's powerless. If anything, the silence around her makes her more unpredictable. Season 2 taught us that ambition doesn't disappear just because someone loses a battle, it adapts. And Landman has always been good at showing how quiet resentment can reshape entire industries. The unresolved offshore rig situation is another thread the trailer carefully pulls without fully revealing. It feels like a ticking clock in the background, something that could collapse at any moment and take several characters down with it. What's impressive is how the trailer balances scale with intimacy. Big money, big land, and big consequences are all there, but the focus stays on personal cost. Tommy's face tells a story long before the plot does. He looks like a man who understands that peace is temporary and happiness is borrowed. That idea ties directly into Billy Bob Thornton's description of Tommy's weary happiness. The trailer doesn't contradict that quote, it reinforces it. You can see that Tommy knows what's coming, even if he doesn't know when. And that awareness changes how he moves through the world. He's calmer, but not relaxed. More confident, but not arrogant. It's the posture of someone who has accepted that there's no clean ending in this business. The trailer also subtly raises the question of legacy. What is Tommy actually building? A company, a future for Cooper, or just another structure that will eventually demand sacrifice? Landman seems ready to challenge the idea that independence equals freedom. In this world, independence might just mean you have no one left to blame when things go wrong.
What really elevates the Season 3 trailer is how it reframes every major relationship we thought we understood. Season 2 spent a lot of time tearing bonds apart, whether it was Tommy and Cammie, Tommy and Angela, or even the fragile trust between Tommy and Cooper. The trailer suggests that Season 3 won't be about fixing those relationships, but about living with the damage they caused. Tommy is no longer reacting to chaos created by others. Now he is the source